I'm not really a big fan of Professor Frink, but I really enjoyed Frinkcoin. This is the 13th episode of the 31st season of The Simpsons, directed by Stephen Dean Moore. And Professor Frink comes up with his currency that makes him the richest person in Springfield. And Mr. Burns is obviously not very happy at somebody stealing that title. So part of the episode focuses on Burns trying to create his own Burns coin, his own currency. That part of it kind of bored me. I feel like it could have been interesting, and it is relevant to the development of Frink's part of the narrative, but honestly, I didn't find that part interesting. But I did like Frink's story because now he has money. Everybody's interested in his money. We have Homer, Lenny and Carl, Van Houten, several other characters. They're spending time with him and he has friends, but then he begins to realize that they might be friends with his money rather than friends with him. And it's an interesting point. There is a quote, and I can't remember which character said it, but somebody said, "You'll never know if people are truly your friends when you have money." And I thought that that's very true. Not that I'm speaking from personal experience, but there are plenty of stories of people who come into wealth, who have money, and then all of a sudden everybody swarms around them. How do you know who's genuine? And obviously, in a lot of cases, you just don't tell people you've got money, which is why people often apparently don't say they've won the lottery. But obviously, Frink with Frinkcoin makes it very well known, and he has a lot of opportunities to find out the truth about how people actually feel about him versus his money. And I thought it was very thought provoking, really moving. I liked Frink in this. I'm still not a big fan of the character. There are a couple of episodes where I don't mind the character. I wouldn't say I hate him, but there are some episodes that focus on him where I'm not interested. But thankfully, this isn't one of them. I thought it was an interesting concept, well executed. The Burns story could have been better. It could have been more fascinating, and I didn't care for it. I didn't really like Smithers in this either. I didn't dislike him as such, but normally I really like Smithers, and I think his scenes are often really great, but not so much here. I was just kind of indifferent. So I guess the things that normally work well for me didn't, and the things I'm not that bothered about were actually okay. So a very different viewing experience for me, but ultimately I did like it. It's currently got 6.0 out of 10 on IMDb across a very low 743 reviews and ratings. For The Simpsons, that's not a lot of reviews. I would rate it more highly than that. I feel like that's quite a negative rating, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's room for improvement, but there's nothing specifically bad about it. But I think it's one I'd watch again. Maybe not immediately, but certainly one day. I wouldn't skip it when watching season 31. Season 31 has been really up and down. We're, just over halfway through now, and I feel like 50% has been really good and 50% has been diabolical. Thankfully, this one's more of the former. Frinkcoin is not a personal favourite, but all things considered, I didn't think it was too bad at all.